Hi Pokefans, welcome back to part 27 of my Indigo Disk DLC. In the last episode, we went ahead and defeated the secret boss of Blueberry Academy, which was, by the way, the director. We did have a pretty interesting battle as he did have some unique Pokemons. But of course, today I'll be continuing on inviting more special coaches for the academy. For today, I believe that we have around 8 people still left to invite, which I'm pretty excited for. Let me quickly go ahead and show who those people are in the computer right here. As far as I remember, I have to battle Director of Paldea as well as the teachers and the champion of Paldea, who is Geeta. I guess we could pick out 3 characters today or 3 NPCs today to defeat and trade Pokemons with. I'm thinking more of the director himself and maybe the nurse as well as Geeta the champion. As for the rest of the teachers, I'm gonna go ahead and try to invite them in another episode. If you might know, it does take 200 BP for inviting each of these characters, and we do have to invite them 3 times. So it does take quite a few to actually go ahead and invite these coaches. I definitely have to go back offline and play this game a bit more to try and get more BP. Either way, right here I've invited both the director and champion Geeta. Let's quickly go ahead and talk to them, see what storylines they have for this academy, and also try to battle them. Ooh, it seems like Geeta is talking to Drayton, which is another new dialogue right here. As usual, Drayton is pretty lazy. I really wish he had changed at least a bit more, but apparently he is still enjoying just being lazy and not doing anything. Either way, yep, he is a bit more free-spirited, but I believe we have to again talk to her to initiate her own dialogue tree. I decided to go ahead and speed up this video a bit more. Most of these dialogues are pretty simple. As far as I remember, it does just them talking about a particular thing that they liked in Blueberry Academy. For Clevel right here, he is pretty happy that we were able to invite him. I guess he was also kind of happy about our achievements of being a champion here and helping resolve issues in this academy. He also has a history with the director of this academy. As far as I know, he did have a dialogue tree where he was talking about how Director Serrano is a bit more battle heavy. I guess he really likes to be weird as well as battle random people. Apparently, Clevel also kind of lost to Director Serrano, which is pretty surprising. And he is also the reason why Director Clevel is now the director of our academy. It's a pretty cool story. I guess it does ties up to how well of a good friends they have been. Anyway, I decided to go ahead and challenge our champion here first. I believe this is the second time I'm actually going against champion Geeta, or maybe the third time, considering that we did have a battle tournament back in Paldea itself where I did defeat her. Either way, it's pretty nice. She did make some changes on her team as well. Of course, not the first 2 Pokemons here. We have seen these both before. Let me go with another foul play, and that should take down. Ooh, no mind. That actually didn't take down Espada as I guessed it would. I actually need to go ahead and add this one into my list of trying out to use it the next time I play through Paldea. I think Espada is a pretty cool Pokemon, and hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. If not, let me know. For the next one, it's Avila. I believe she had this Pokemon in her team as well. I'm just gonna go with Earthquake, and really didn't do the damage that I was hoping for. Guess I'll go with another one. We need one more. Unfortunately, Crocodile did go down right here for a body press. I'm just gonna go ahead and switch into Ogre Ball. It does have low kick. which should be able to take down the Avalok. I'm actually not that big of a fan of Ice-type Pokemons. I feel that they have way too many weaknesses and it's so much difficult to actually keep them alive in a battle. And that is the reason why I never use an Ice-type in my team. But I guess I could try one. Maybe if there is a new Pokemon game coming up, I might go ahead and try to add an Ice-type into my team. Dragapult is probably the new Pokemon she has added to her team. I believe she didn't have this one before. Chestnut is also another new team member. I'm just going to switch into Armarouge. It should be able to take her Pokemon down. Once more, most of these battles are pretty easy as long as you have a level 100 Pokemon, which you probably do considering that this DLC is pretty tough without it. As for... ooh, it did protect itself. Now I am poisoned. I'm not too worried about the poison. I believe I still have a couple of turns where I could still survive. As for Geeta herself, she is down to her last 2 Pokemons. Oh, never mind. This is apparently the last Pokemon that she does have. I'm just gonna go with Flamethrower. I'm really not sure which type King Angbet is gonna be. I'm guessing it is gonna be Steel type. But, it is a flying type, right? Totally unexpected, but I believe I'll be able to take it down. Unfortunately, Armarouge did not survive that move. I'm actually not surprised. Armarouge doesn't really have that good of a defense or special defense stat. As for this one, I just went with Discharge and we were able to defeat Champion Geeta once more. Pretty nice. I wonder if we are supposed to be called the top champion now, considering that we have defeated so many people. We did go through 2 different leagues and we are the champion of both of these. So shouldn't we be called the top champion? I mean, we also defeated Geeta multiple times before. I really wish that was a feature that was added to this game. Either way, next up is Clevel. I hardly remember his team members. Hopefully I'll be able to identify the newer ones that he has added. Right here we have Oranguru, which is a older Pokemon. He did have this one in his team. Trick Room is a pretty bad move for me. Now it will be able to be faster. I think most of my Pokemons will now be slower, unless of course the Trick Room is removed. Although I'm not too worried about it, I think all of my Pokemons might get a bit more damage. Hopefully none of them do get knocked out. Next up is Armarouge and he brings out his Obama Snow. This one also I believe is a older Pokemon. I remember him having this, but maybe I am wrong. There we go, we were able to take it down in one hit. Gyarados, That also seems like a Pokemon he did have before. Thankfully this time, I did go ahead and switch my team members around, so I do have Pokemons for almost all of the typing. Shouldn't be too difficult to defeat these Pokemon. There we go, Discharge was able to take it down in one hit. Next we have Among Us. I believe this is a newer Pokemon added to his team. I do not remember him having one before this. Unfortunately, the sleep powder did hit right here and my Pokemon is asleep. I guess I'll have to wait for a couple of turns. I really want the Hurricane to actually hit once Kilowatt actually wakes up. As you might know, Hurricane is only 70% accuracy, so it may or may not hit. In this case, it didn't, which is pretty bad. Hopefully it doesn't use the powder in the next turn. And of course, alright, We actually went first this turn and was able to take down the Among Us. Pretty good. Up next we have Poltergeist. Guess I could switch out. Of course, maybe Crocodile is not the right Pokemon for this. But let me quickly go ahead and use Poppy and take it down as well. I believe we have one more Pokemon left. This battle is definitely a bit more trickier than the one I had with Champion Geeta. I guess Dialectic level just has a better Pokemons in his team. Or maybe it's just that I'm way better prepared for taking down the champion than level here. Scary Dirge is pretty cool. Although it's not my first preference for the starter here in Paldia. I believe I actually enjoyed using Sprigatito a lot, and I feel like that is a better starter for this region. But of course, let me know in the comment section which starter you really liked from Paldia and which one you actually used in your very first journey. Alright, there we go. We have defeated Dialectic level as well. Let me quickly go ahead and invite the nurse from the Paldian Academy. We of course have to defeat her before I go for a second round on all of these three people. We get a wig from Clevel, which is unsurprising. I believe it's the Pompadour wig which he used to use when he was pretending to be a student. Either way, I'm not too worried about it. I guess we could definitely try that wig out at some point. But here is Miriam. I'm just gonna go ahead, talk to her and battle her as well. Her whole storyline is depending on the fact that she is very nervous to teach students, especially since she is still a nurse and not a doctor like she promised that she would be. Either way, I'm just hoping that she will not be too afraid and not do any mistake. I'm actually not sure what kind of Pokemon she does have in her team. We have never gotten a chance to battle her before, so this is definitely going to be a new one for us. Although I'm not too worried about it though. Ooh, alright. Hypno. A Pokemon that I have not seen for quite some time, as I have not played Pokemon Let's Go. But this Pokemon is pretty powerful and I'm pretty surprised that she actually used it in her team. Who knows, it might be that she has Hypno as her starter Pokemon. Either way, for the next one, I decided to go ahead and switch into Tinkaton. She actually has Electros in her team, which means I appreciate her a lot more now. I actually really like Electros, being that it is the final evolution for Tynamo. And it of course doesn't really have I believe, a weakness. I mean, it does get levitate, so it's pretty powerful and not something that you can actually easily defeat. So definitely I am pretty happy to see Electros in at least one team till now. Lily should be pretty easy to defeat. It is after all a ice type Pokemon and does go down pretty fast. Next up we have Meganium. Alright, that's another one of my favorite grass type Pokemon. I must say I'm a bit partial to most of the grass type starters, except I believe when it comes to Gen 3, I actually prefer Mudkip than Trico. But of course, Trico is a pretty cool Pokemon. Either way, Meganium is pretty easy to defeat with Armarouge. After all, it is a grass type. Alright. The next one I went with Earthquake on Crocodile. That was easily able to take care. And Toxapex, I think I should be able to use Crocodile again, but I'm not really sure if Toxapex will be able to go down. It also is part water type, so it's a bit trickier. She does sterilize it, and it is into a Poison type, alright. That is pretty good. I think Earthquake will do way more damage. Unfortunately, it did protect itself from the very first turn. Let me go ahead and try that one again. This time I decided to go ahead and testalize my Pokemon. This is just to avoid the super effective water type moves from Toxapex. There we go. Earthquake should be able to, take it down. Pretty cool. I actually really liked her team. It was definitely diverse and was not expecting most of the Pokemon that she did use. Either way, it's pretty nice to see that she is a really good battler. Let me quickly go ahead and skip forward to inviting all of these three for the third and last time before they do actually trade a Pokemon with us. She, of course, in return teaches us a pose, which is pretty nice. While I was trying to invite Director Clevel, I accidentally clicked on Professor Jock, who is right next to Director Clevel. I'm just gonna go ahead and ignore Professor Jock for now. After all, we are not talking to him. After talking to Director Clevel, he does ask us a question about what we like in Blueberry Academy. Although all of the options are really good, I went with the first one, which is the values. I think it's pretty great. I guess Director Clevel will go ahead and try to implement it in Blueberry Academy, which should be pretty fun to watch. Of course, at this point, he does actually ask us for a Pokemon trade. As for him, let me quickly go ahead and select a Pokemon. Now, I actually didn't catch a special Pokemon for all these three NPC. I might have to just use a Pokemon that I have in my box. I actually selected a Chinchino for Clevel here. It's definitely a Pokemon I want to add to my team. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give this one to Director Clevel. There we go. In return, we do get a Pomo, which is pretty cool. Alright, that's on Director Clevel. Let me go ahead and invite Mariam first and then invite Geeta. I actually have just enough BP to actually invite both of them only once. I might have to go ahead and play this game offline a bit more to have enough to invite the rest of the teachers, which I believe will be around 6 of them. I might be able to divide it into 3 people for each episode. That way I'll be able to quickly complete trading Pokemons with them. Now Mariam here actually went ahead and taught the wrong class, and she was super embarrassed about it when I invited her for the second time. But this time she actually talked about how the students were still pretty interested in what she thought and came to ask questions about it. Apparently she is quite famous now, which is pretty nice to hear. And of course she is no more shy around the students. She was able to kind of get her confidence back. Of course, with that she is ready to go ahead and trade a Pokemon with us. As for her, I wonder which one she is gonna give. Ooh, alright. I'm gonna give her a Vibrava, as it is one of my favorite Pokemons. I do have to say, this one, though I didn't really catch it for her, I was just catching it to complete a couple of quests to get BP points. But there we go. That is on her trade. I believe I'll be able to have a team of 6 Pokemons with just the Pokemons that I got traded with all of these trainers. But I will wait to get the rest of them. For now, that is all on Mariam here. Let me quickly go ahead and invite the top champion Geeta and see what she has to say. Okay, I actually didn't realize that she was already here. So let me quickly talk to her. Geeta is talking more about how much I actually liked Blueberry Academy. She is a bit worried that I might actually permanently stay in this one rather than going back to Padya, which is what she asked right here. But of course, I think I'll stay in Padya. After all, I really like that region. I mean, Unova is not that bad, but I am really not sure if I want to stay here. After all, I do have all of my friends back in Padya and would like to go back there. Either way, here she is. She is going to go ahead and trade a Pokemon with us. I'm actually pretty excited for this one. She does give us a Glimmet, which I guess I was kind of expecting it. As for her, I also decided to go with a Vibrava. I believe she doesn't have a ground type Pokemon in her team, and a dragon type Pokemon would help her as well. Probably this is the best Pokemon for her. There we go. And Glimmet is actually a super nice Pokemon. I really wish I had actually added it to my team when I was going through Paldia for the first time. But this time I'll be able to try that out. Either way, there we go. That is on the trading for the 3 NPCs that I have invited for today. Alright. Hope you all enjoyed this episode as much as I did. If you did, please put a like, and if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing to my channel as it does help me a lot. If you'd like to support me more on Patreon, check out the links in my description, and I'll see you all in the next one.